Okay, now switching over to the UFC side of things from this past weekend, UFC Fight Night, Lewis versus Spivac. And in the main event, Serghei Spivac defeated Derrick Lewis. I'm just going to say it by a fucking boring fucking fight. I hated it.
By sadness is what it was.
Sad. It was sad. The official time, I'll let you guys talk first. 3:05 of round number 1 by submission via arm triangle choke. Omar, take it away. Give us your impression of Spivac's signature career-making win over the sort of current legend Derrick Lewis.
Yeah, it was sad. I can't really say it was boring because the technique was high level, man. Spivac has a game, and actually shout out to Laura Senko for breaking shit down because I actually thought she gave a lot of great takes on specifically what Spivac was doing and kind of what his thought process was and his game plan seemed to be, which was to tire out Derrick Lewis, to make Derrick Lewis work as much as humanly possible in that first round and try to break him. And there was a lot of, tripping him, trying to take him down, letting him get back up, letting him work for the get up, then taking him back down, letting him work for the get up. And it got to a point where I think Lewis kind of didn't have that gas anymore. Tybur or Spivac felt it and went for the choke when he went for it. I think when he first started the ground game, I think he tried to test him out, see what his strength level was, and I think Lewis was a little too much at the beginning of the round. And I think Spivac just kind of just slowly ate at him. But with bigger guys, man, that gas tank will go a lot faster, and Spivac took advantage of it. It was a good performance, man. I can't really say anything about it. It was just sad.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to be one of those guys who discounts grappling and is like, if a guy wins by grappling, then it's less valuable than if they win by strikes. I get irked by when guys make that point. I find myself being irked by this win by Spivac. I feel like Derrick Lewis, I don't even know if he got to throw a punch on the feet. The fight got tangled up so quickly, and Spivac did what he had to do, and he was grappling for his life, and he sure as shit was not going to let Derrick Lewis up at all. And 3 minutes into the round, he found a choke, and he got the win. So he deserves all the credit, man. So great win by him, and I'm excited for Spivac. Honestly, I can compartmentalize this. I can be sad for Derrick Lewis and impressed and happy for Spivac. Nothing against him at all. He's proving to be a great and formidable heavyweight now up in the upper ranks of the heavyweight division of the UFC. So, yeah. Mark, give me the name for Mr. Serghei Spivac. What's next for him at heavyweight?
Well, let me talk about the fight for a second. I'm surprised by your irkness. Really? He came in and did, I'm sure, exactly what his game plan was.
Yes,
you're not going to stand there and trade with Derrick Lewis.
Of course.
And frankly, Derrick Lewis got ragdolled.
He did.
I don't think we've ever seen Derrick Lewis get ragdolled quite like that. And he got thrown around in there. There were about 1 million mat returns. Bisping said it, but we needed DC in this one to call out all the mat returns. And, man, Serghei Spivac has risen to quite a point here. This is a guy who got finished by Walt Harris, who got beat by Marcin Tybura. But he has now really put a game together where he's a tough out. And I think he's ranked number 8 in the UFC at this point now, something along those lines. And Derrick Lewis was a big-time opponent already, but he's going to have another one on deck most likely. He's not a guy that you can take lightly anymore. He really is starting to look dangerous in there. And as for Derrick, obviously this sucks. He is 38. Maybe we're at the end of title contention for him at this point. I'm sure he can still be in plenty of fun fights and probably add a few more KOs to the highlight reel. But I think the days of a title run are probably over.
Yeah, man.
You know what I want to see from Derrick Lewis? I want to see this man go on a little 1-2 month adventure to Thailand. Go to one of those fucking camps. pull a what's that dude's name? Pull a Khalil Roundtree.
Yeah.
Go over there, focus on just that for like a month or two. I don't even think you need 2 months. 1 month solid. Let those men run you ragged because that process over there is fucking crazy. I mean, the closest I can equate to it is watching somebody forge a knife out of raw steel because they put you through all kinds of shit in those training camps over there. I would love to see it, man. I would love to see him really like evolve his game because watching him get into that scrap with Spivac partially annoys me because I feel like he is an athletic guy. Like he has athleticism, but he fights and walks sometimes in these fights like he has no bounce, like he has no movement. And against a guy who's using movement against you, you've got to be able to, I feel like, move as well. And I don't think he ever really shows that. And I feel like taking some time to really go through one of those crazy training camps might elevate his game, especially his striking in a different way, open up different avenues and how he can strike and win, because I think relying on his hands too, the way that he does, makes him very, very one-dimensional, especially once he gets at the top of the heap. If we get his, kicks in line and whatever else, man, I think Derrick Lewis could still be nasty, but I just don't think. I think he's gotten so much money at this point and all this other stuff that I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze, I guess, if he's not really trying to still be the best. But if he is, I think that's a perfect avenue for him to go down to really continue to do that.
I love that idea. I just don't know that I see him doing that at age 38.
Yeah, I get it. If you're going to put your body through the bullshit now, though, I might as well invest in these guys that really turn out some crazy-ass strikers.
Yeah.
All right. Mark, give me the name. What's next for Mr. Serghei Spivac?
So he's earned himself a big fight. The only problem for him is that the kind of top of heavyweight is not going to be matched up with him. Obviously, we have Bones and Gone. Stipe's going to wait. And then I doubt he's getting Blades or Pavlovich. If anything, I think they're probably going to get each other. So, and then also there's Tom Aspinall returning, but Tom Aspinall already smoked him. So I don't think he's getting that one either. So he may have to settle a little bit for what it feels like he should get off of this win. I think there's two options that make sense. I think one is that you can give him the winner of Alexander Volkov and Alexander Romanov that's coming up here. And the other, which I like more, is to actually book a rematch with Tai Tuivasa. I know Serghei has already choked him out, but that was 3.5 years ago, and that Tai was not this Tai. This Tai is a lot more prepared for this game. Plus, Tai's a star now, which can only help Serghei grow his name. So I think it works. I could see Serghei taking it, even though it's a rematch of a guy he's already beat. I think it works for Tai, too, because it's the kind of matchup that gives his brain a break from being rattled, and I think he needs that right now. We've discussed that on this show. So I think that's the way I would go.
Omar, any other thoughts?
Serghei Spivac and Tai Tuivasa was my choice. That's a rematch that I think that I would like to see at this point. And for reference, the UFC has Spivac at number 8 now. Derrick Lewis is number 10.
Okay. All right. What about Mr. Derrick Lewis? Sticking with you, Omar. What do you think is next for the Black Beast?
Man, I wish I could give him something that doesn't seem like a gatekeeper fight, but at this point, I'm not really sure kind of what else you really do with him. I think an interesting fight would probably be. I think you give him Jailton Almeida. I think, and that's kind of the problem, right? It's like that's a guaranteed murder, but when is it not at this point? Like, who is he not going to murder? And I think the problem is that Jailton needs a big name to really cross that boundary. And I think Derrick Lewis is probably going to be the one to do it.
That'd be a tough fucking break for Derrick Lewis. For me, it's one I bring up all the time. I think it's really staring at us right now. It still feels wild to me that we've never gotten this fight. Derrick Lewis, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, both coming off losses. I think this is the time to book that fight.
I'm down.
Rozenstruik he came off a loss? I thought the Dawkins fight was his last fight.
Oh, was that? I was thinking, you're right. That was after Volkov.
Yeah.
But even so, my point would remain because they're at similar points. Beating Dawkins didn't shoot Rozenstruik up the ranks by any means.
Correct. And to be fair, Rozenstruik is number 9, and Derrick, like I said, is number 10. So they're right
There you go. But you're right. Good correction. I forgot that.